The moment you step into the Slytherin common room, conversations stutter to a halt. Eyes, curious, envious, calculating, snap to Tom's gleaming badge pinned prominently on your robes, then drop to the emerald locket resting against your collarbone. Whispers slither through the room like living things. Matteo Riddle chokes on his pumpkin juice halfway across the room, nearly dropping his goblet as his gaze locks onto the pendant. His knuckles whiten around the stem. Matteo, hissing to Blaze. That's the exact design Tom's been sketching in the margins of his notes for months. Draco freezes mid-bite into a toast, his grey eyes widening comically before he schools his features into careful neutrality, though his fingers twitch toward his own untouched prefect badge. Well, fuck. Theo's eyebrows climb toward his hairline as he leans back in his chair, shooting you an impressed look before turning to smirk at Lorenzo, who looks torn between awe and abject terror. Then Lorenzo whispers, does this mean she's running the house now? Or, before Theo can answer, the portrait hole swings open and silence falls like an executioner's axe. Tom strides in, his gaze sweeps the room, lingering pointedly at Matteo's white-knuckled grip on his goblet, on Draco's hastily averted eyes. Before landing on you, a slow, possessive smile curls his lips as he takes in the badge, the locket, the statement you've made without saying a word. There you are. He crosses the room in measured strides, stopping just close enough for his robes to brush yours, territorial, deliberate. I believe we have a lesson to attend. His fingers graze the small of your back as he guides you toward the exit, not hiding, not apologizing, as the common room's whispers surge behind you like a tide. And in the doorway, he pauses, just long enough to toss a single glacial glance over his shoulder at the frozen Slytherins. Do try to behave while we're gone. The portrait hole snaps shut behind you both, leaving behind only the echo of his threat and the weight of 100 understood implications. In the corridor, Tom's hand slides down to tangle with yours. Unmistakable, unashamed, as he leans close to murmur, "Perfect." The stone corridors of Hogwarts stretch before you, morning light filtering through high windows as students scatter from your path. Eyes darting to Tom's grip on your hand, then away, just as quickly. The locket burns against your skin, pulsing in time with Tom's steady stride. Rounding a corner, you nearly collide with Professor Slughorn, who fumbles his dragon-hide briefcase in shock. His gaze locks onto the pendant, then the prefect badge, then Tom's fingers still laced through yours. His jowls quiver. Slughorn. Ah, Tom, my boy, that is... He swallows hard, polishing his sweating forehead with a paisley handkerchief. Dumbledore was quite insistent on Tom Riddle, cutting in smoothly. I'll attend to the headmaster after my arithmancy lecture, Professor. His thumb strokes your knuckles, casual, daring. Priorities, Tom states. Slughorn's mouth opens, then closes like a fish as Tom guides you past him without breaking stride. The moment you're out of earshot, I do believe we've killed him. He nods toward a nearby alcove where Pansy Parkinson stands gaping, her morning pumpkin juice dripping forgotten onto her shoes. And her. As you approach the grand staircase, the whispers crescendo, but Tom doesn't loosen his grip. If anything, his hold tightens, his shoulder brushing yours as the staircases shift beneath your feet. His voice drops to a murmur only you can hear. Enjoying the chaos, darling? In the entrance hall, Ginny Weasley drops her books with a clatter as she spots you. The bloody Baron drifts through a nearby wall, pausing to survey the scene before letting out a rattling chuckle that sounds suspiciously like, "Finally." Tom's magic hums through the air. Ahead of you, a cluster of whispering third years abruptly find their shoelaces knotted together. His smile is all teeth. The great hall falls unnaturally silent the moment you both enter, heads turning in unison, goblets frozen halfway to lips. Even the enchanted ceiling seems to pause its usual swirl of clouds, as if watching. Tom guides you to the Slytherin table with deliberate slowness, his hand resting possessively at the small of your back. At the high table, Dumbledore's fingers pause over his half-eaten lemon drop. They're staring. Tom says pleasantly, while buttering your toast. His knife glints dangerously in the candlelight. Should I blind a few? Just to make a point. Before you can answer, a silvery green serpent slithers from his sleeve onto the table, a conjured adder that flicks its tongue toward a gawking Hufflepuff first year, making the child squeak and drop their pumpkin juice. The Slytherins nearby smother laughs behind their hands. When the Morning Post arrives, owls swooping down with packages. One particularly regal eagle owl drops a long, slender box in front of you before landing on Tom's shoulder. Inside rests a single black rose, its petals shimmering with emerald dew. Attached, a note in Tom's handwriting. For every hour they force me to pretend I don't own you. The owl nips Tom's ear affectionately before taking off, leaving the entire great hall torn between horrified fascination and barely contained gossip. Even the teachers seem unsure whether to intervene. Tom watches them all over the rim of his goblet, his free hand slipping beneath the table to squeeze your thigh. The hum of the great hall rises again, but it's different now. Charged with tension, laced with poorly concealed glances in your direction. Tom sips his coffee with deliberate calm, but his magic coils beneath the surface, restless as the Black Lake on a stormy night. Tom leans closer, his voice soft, only for you. Notice how quiet Draco's been. His gaze flicks to where the blonde sits rigidly, staring resolutely at his plate. Clever boy. He knows better than to breathe wrong in our direction now. The bell rings. Students scramble to gather their things, casting furtive glances at you both, but Tom doesn't move. He waits until the crowd thins before standing, offering you his hand with a smirk that promises retribution for every curious stare. Shall we? His thumb brushes over your knuckles, light, possessive. The torches flicker as you descend, shadows stretching long behind you, two silhouettes merging into one as the whispers fade into the stone walls. The game, after all, is only just beginning.